Marcus Reed used to be the kind of man the world quietly gave up on. Just another number in the system. Just another face in a mugshot. Another name scrolling across the bottom of the 10 o'clock news. He grew up in Southside Chicago, where dreams didn't bloom. They died early. There was no father to walk him to school, no family dinners, no one to say, "You can be anything." What Marcus did learn was survival. By 13, he knew how to move weight. By 16, he held a gun. By 18, he was sitting in the back of a police cruiser. And at 23, he stood in court and heard the judge sentence him to 12 years in prison for armed robbery. He didn't beg. He didn't cry. He didn't even speak. Because part of him believed maybe this was all he was ever meant to be. In prison, time froze. Days blurred into nights. Nights bled into years. There were bars, concrete walls, shouting in the dark, and a silence louder than screams. And then the letters came. Every Sunday, like clockwork. A letter from his grandmother. They were short, gentle, filled with ordinary stories and impossible hope. He never wrote back. But one Sunday, 3 years in, her letter said only one thing. "Your past is not your prison. Just do one good thing a day, Marcus. Just one." He folded the letter, put it in his pocket. That night, he didn't sleep. Those words echoed through his chest like a drum. The next day, he noticed an older inmate struggling to read the label on his medicine. Marcus quietly offered help. That was his one good thing. Then came another and another. Soon, he was helping others read, then teaching GED prep. They started calling him Teacher Marcus. 9 years later, Marcus walked out of prison early for good behavior. He had one duffel bag, a GED certificate, and a worn-out letter in his pocket. But for the first time in his life, he had a direction. The outside world didn't feel like freedom. No one wanted to hire a felon. No one trusted a man with tattoos and a record. Marcus walked miles, applied everywhere, and got rejected over and over again. Some nights, he'd stand in front of his old street corner, the place where his old life still lingered, and he'd ask himself, "What's the point of trying if they'll never see who I am now?" And then the phone rang. It was his grandmother. "Don't let this world convince you that you're only who you were, Marcus." The next morning, he walked into a small community center and asked to volunteer. No pay, no promise. They needed help with after-school reading programs. He started there. That's where the rebirth began. He taught kids, then teens, then troubled youth. He didn't preach. He didn't judge. He just told the truth about his past, about his mistakes, and about hope. People listened. One boy, age 15, came up after a talk and said, "You think someone like me still has a shot?" Marcus smiled. "I didn't think I had one either, but my grandma did. Now I believe in you too." 5 years after release, Marcus founded a nonprofit called Second Chance Project. It offered job training, legal aid, and mentorship for formerly incarcerated individuals. The program grew. Marcus was invited to speak at universities, churches, even on TEDx stages. But no matter where he went, he always carried that old letter in his pocket. Just one good thing. When his grandmother passed away, Marcus found an envelope on her desk. Inside was a photo of them together. He was maybe 6 years old, smiling. On the back, in shaky handwriting, she had written, "You became the man they said was impossible." He sat in silence for a long time. All the praise, all the awards, none of it compared to that sentence. Marcus Reed isn't a superhero. He made mistakes, big ones, but he had the courage to believe in something better, even when no one else did. And all of it began with just one person who refused to give up on him, one sentence and one good thing a day.